Okay, guys. We are as usually we'll cover the latest news from the course. Hope you're hearing me well and see the screen. Uh, so what we're going to discuss today. So first of all, as you see from the deadlines, you're supposed to pass the interview with mentors. However, we received numerous of messages from students that probably they passed the interview, but for some reason they left without mentors, or they um, didn't have a chance to contact mentor since he's not responding. As usually, I tried like uh, to propose to proceed with the course, even though if you're left without mentors, just proceed with course, complete the assignments in time. For instance, for the current week, the task inheritance should be completed. By that, I mean that you need to open the pull request from the task branch to the main one in your course private repository. Um, and I also like highlighted that recently we discovered a feature in RSAP, and unfortunately, I'm not sure how to present it for you. But on the course page, you'll have the possibility to submit your task, even though it's not for the cross check. So it's done for the purpose that your mentors will have the access to the mentors dashboard with all of the submitted links, so that they're not supposed like to look for your repository exactly and check your source code and evaluate them. Also, that's would be extremely helpful for you in case if you pass the interview or your mentors are not responding in case of scheduling the interview. You're given the opportunity for other mentors to check to evaluate your work, even though you're without mentor. So please, if you see like the submit button for all the tasks, so I would rather recommend you to use it uh, for ensuring the better experience. So I know that's not all of you maybe catch this information, and you also like can submit the task in RS app even after the deadline. But the main catch here is that the pull request itself should be raised before the deadline. So the deadline was 12th of December. So till 12th of December, the PR should be raised. So it means that you submitted the task. Um, Also, like some of the uh, important information in terms of the deadlines. So in terms of the cross check, we have like really strict deadlines because we were not able to influence the distribution process and its finishes exactly as the deadline date. However, there is one more info in terms of uh, missing or making some changes after the deadline. So you could refer to our documentation. So this info is mostly is given to our mentors, but at the same time, you could also like get acquainted with it to have understanding in case if your score will be for some reason decreased. So that if you're making some changes up to 3 days after the deadline, the overall evaluation will be decreased by 10 points, by 13% of total score if you are making changes up to 7 days, and up to 70% penalty if you're more than a week going late. So I believe that could be useful for your understanding. And one more thing, since your mentors now are responsible for evaluation of the task, in case if you have some I don't know, some circumstances that prevent you from completing the tasks on time. Let's say the doctor appointments, illness, business, busy workload, or something. So please communicate all the questions with mentors because they are responsible for further evaluation, and they will decide whether or not to prolong or to check the task later on. So please communicate all these questions with mentors. We're not able to influence this process. And then meanwhile, yeah, as I mentioned previously, so the interviews should already be passed. Um, just one more time. The interview counts as successfully passed in case if you gain more than 30 as the overall score on 3 stars. So if we refer to our scoring dashboard. So it means that you see that technical screening, the maximum score is 50, and the minimum that is eligible, that enables for you to pass forward is 30. In case if you received less than 30, so the mentor gave a feedback that you have not enough knowledge to pass further, and unfortunately, he's not ready to take you into the group. So yeah, unfortunately, in this case, there is no possibility to go further. But anyway, if you see that some of the knowledge are not enough for you, or you need more time, like um, to eliminate the gaps you have after the stage one. So you're welcome in the next run. In case if you see that you have some gaps and you need more time. Okay, so I believe we were clear with this aspect. So in other ones, so yeah, we completed the online Zoom. The Big Four should be checked as well. Yeah, and we're done with the previous week. So in the current one, in the week 13, as you see that there is no any assignments this week. However, we highly recommend you to pass this module, to get acquainted with this module, because the knowledge that you're acquainted if you work with module are crucial to complete the next assignments that are coming next weeks. So yeah, looks like you have like opportunity for resting a bit of strict deadlines, but at the same time, I highly recommend you to work with this module, since you see that in the week 14, for example, you will have task async that's uses all the knowledges you'll acquaint within the current week and then in the next one. Okay. What else? So probably I covered mostly everything that I wanted to share with you, unless someone else has some additions to share with you as well.
No, from my side.
Okay then. So let's discuss your questions, if any. So one more time, the task inheritance is not for the cross-check. So the cross-check mechanism was working in stage one, whenever you were without mentors. So now mentor, let's treat him as your first point of contact. So he'll be evaluating almost all the tasks, provide you with the code review, put in some useful comments for your implementation, and evaluating the task as per requirements. So all these aspects should be communicated with your mentor. Okay then, guys, do you have any questions so far?
Hello, may I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
I would like to ask about the new task, this sync race, because I took a look and noticed that we should use already some new technologies that are new for us as beginners. We should use TypeScript and also Webpack, and we should interact with our mentors. So could you please tell more detail about these points? Thank you.
For that one, yeah, let's for us have some time once again to look through the task because, well, it's was used on one of the RSS runs, and some of the modules are passing in another sequence. So if you're saying that this task is like one of the requirements is to use TS and Webpack, which haven't covered yet. So yeah, let's us to have one extra week to look through it and possibly to adjust requirements. Let's focus now on the current week, so we'll get further details.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, next one. Yeah, the task on the Christmas will not have. What is the minimum amount of help we expect from a mentor? Well, honestly, I'm not sure how to measure measure the amount of help that could you expect, but at least uh, here is as I mentioned previously, this is your first point of contact. Uh, the mentor's goal is not, as I mentioned, as the goal of the overall course, not to teach you, but provides the environment for education. So let's see. Now you're passing, you're learning the async communication in the client-server architecture by using protocols. And let's say some of the topics are not clear for you, or during task implementation, you face some questions and technical difficulties, and maybe something which is provided from your models is not enough for to accommodate the task. So you could like easily to ask your mentor whether, hey, I know that's the task state that I need to do so and such things, but I'm not. I tried to do so, but I have a little understanding. So you could ask him for expert help because all the mentors have production experience. Lots of production experience, so they could help you to understand the best practices that could be used in your further implementations. But yeah, I believe that all kind of questions could ask for your mentors, and I'm not sure how to answer these questions correctly because how to measure the help. Yeah, even so, I'm not able to answer it, but still, uh, you could ask anything regarding the course regarding technical details about some topics that are quite tough for your understanding. Okay, I'm not sure whether it helped to answer me, but yeah, I believe so. We're working in the teams a bit hard. We'll be working in the teams a bit later to build some projects together. Well, we don't have exact plans for it for the team projects, at least for now. But if something will be changed, yeah, we'll let you know. Okay, then I see Debbie is still raising the hand to wait until she can ask the question. So please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. My question is about the points. Okay, like at the beginning of the meeting, you went through the documentation that said if a student is late by like a week, you like 17 points or something will be deducted. So my question is, if the student is late for like maybe a day or two, does that mean no points will be deducted since it was stated that 10 points will be deducted if it's 3 days and above or something like that?
Well, it's mostly depends on which changes you're making. So let's say you raised the PR in time, you submitted the task, but during some harder testing, you encountered some sort of bugs that could impact the further evaluation. So we're speaking about bugs, for example. I'm pretty okay if we would fix them even after the deadline. So this question is also communicated with some of the mentors. But if the mentor will see that you're not raising the PR in time or you're making significant functional changes to your code, so it means that you are doing the task after the deadline. Again, all these questions should be asked to your mentors because they will evaluate you. Whether or not they will like decrease the points, it depends on their decision, but everything could be communicated. Hope I answered the question. And
Yeah, perfect. Thanks.
okay then. What else do we have from the chat? Okay, looks like everything is answered. Deduction from the course if you not complete it's so if you haven't completed 2 or more tasks. So yeah, unfortunately, that's a key criteria for expelling from the course. Yeah, please try to do your best and complete as much assignments. Okay. Anything else? Okay, looks like no. All right then. Yeah, one more thing. Yeah, yesterday I like feel that some of you started communicating me in case of the questions. So as you see, I started like I was like trying to resolve it as soon as possible. Sometimes with some delays, that we're also having the busy workload, but still, I one more time want to remind you that for like technical questions for understanding for the topics you're learning right now, so you could ask your mentors. In other cases, any organizational questions, so please, I'm asking you um, to address them not only to Anna, because I believe there did lots of job like helping you with resolving your questions or issues, but please also ping me or Andre. We're ready to help as well. Yeah, well, I've seen raised hand, but for sometimes it's lower. Yeah, is the question still actual or you're raised by mistake?
It was mistaken. Sorry.
Oh, no, okay, no worries. Okay then, looks like we're done. Yeah, I believe Han is lifesaver. Yeah, kudos. I do like realize that's lots of things here. Okay, Leshi, please go ahead. Oh, I
Hello.
see. Yeah, hey.
I hope you're doing okay. I have some electricity problems as always, so I have some connectivity problems. So if I'm like disappearing, I'm sorry. I have a bunch of questions actually, Pavel. Hi.
Okay, let's go
I'm
one
back.
by one.
So I missed the first like 10 minutes if you already answered that. Like I'll watch when you will upload it. But I have questions about this. Is it okay to talk about the task inheritance now, or is it like still a work in progress and we shouldn't?
Well, you've already you're supposed to complete this. You have tasks in terms of the task itself. I mean, in terms
Yeah,
of implementation.
Yeah, in terms of implementation and everything that actually provided with it.
Okay, so
Because
hold on. So let's discuss this question. Could you please address it to your mentor in terms of like having some ideas or best practices?
I tried.
And
Well, I am here.
so you didn't get the desired answer to your question, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do the following to cover the most of the meetings, because there is like somewhere there is a recording with reviewing the same of the same task, also conducted by me. So I could share the link with everybody since the task is already supposed to be finished. You could try to watch it, and in case if you still have questions, please contact me in person or ask your mentor again if you see that's. Mhm.
Yeah, I will. No, I will. I know that like my mentor had some like personal problems. Nothing against. How we are doing this PR? Are we sending the? Are we merging our branches
No,
with the
we're
main?
not merging this PR. So basically,
No.
refer to the
We are not
documentation.
merged.
No,
Yeah.
we're not merging the PR. We just raising this from your task branch to the main one. You provide the link to pull request to your mentor and submitting it via REST app to start for your link to start showing up in the mentor's dashboard, and you wait for his feedback. Once the task is checked, you could like merge this pull request into the main branch so that you could like gather all the tasks accommodated within the course and to make.
Oh, okay. So we are merging only when our task is completed and we like got a score, right?
Yes, but that's not necessary. The main goal is not to merge this PR right away, to wait for the feedback.
Okay. Another question is like with inheritance task, we have like JS files, right? Mostly. Like we have a JS file where we have this this task written by us. So my question about this kind of task is, should we have only JS files, or like we can connect JS files to index.html and it will be like all together sent in our branch, or we should like only this?
It doesn't really matter.
Okay. Okay, another question that I have is about how it's written in your documents, that we have like you're sending the name of the task, the link, the description, yes, this. So when we have like this score, for example, we are putting a score for ourselves depending on how we think we implemented the task, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so
for the current one, we don't have. So for the current assignments, we don't have such criteria that could be put here. So the task will be related by the mentors by counting the number of the methods that are correctly implemented. So there is like for now there is no need to put anything in the description, but you could highlight some key points that what's your checker should pay more attention.
Okay, so my question is, when we decide when we need like to put the score and all the stuff, because I was like very confused.
Okay, so the current
yeah.
task is not a great example. Okay, I agree with you. So for now, you could skip the stage, but if you like took, for instance, some other tasks that has like let's say that has some scoring criteria like here. So you could just copy it, put your pull request description, and put check marks under these under such criteria that are completed. That will simplify the check process for your mentor by like having understanding of which points are not exactly completed and should be rechecked. But anyway, it's still he still will like recheck the entire task. So maybe you're cheating. Who knows? But yeah, it's quite simplifies the check for the students or for the mentors because they will see, okay, I see that this requirement is not quite completed, but I see that a student puts the check mark here, so maybe we could communicate to discuss this point, and I will the overall score will be fair for both of us. So that's really simplifies lots of things.
Okay. My then question about a screenshot. Like I got that if we will have like a mark, a score that like written in the task that we need to implement, like we will see it. Will we see like, okay, you need to send a screenshot of something, some sort? Because what is screenshot for?
Well, the screenshot of your application itself, not of the source code, obviously, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yes, you would think so. Okay. Fine. So everything else, like I read the announcement that we need to send links through the app. My question, when where I can see that my task was checked.
In the score.
So only in the score, yeah, I need to look at.
Well,
because,
yeah, you could also.
Because I can see like in the dashboard that like my task is done. At least I see that it's done.
Yes, it's done, and whenever the score will showing up, so it means that the task has been checked.
Okay.
Not sure. Like I also like set up some sort of notifications within the REST app. So I integrate it with the Telegram and with the email, and sometimes like I receive notifications. Even though like I was like participating in other course in like AWS that was taking place also in the REST call, and I started like seeing notifications whenever I received the mark from the checker.
No,
But yeah,
know.
one of the sources, like you could check either your dashboard or scores table, something like that.
And another question I asked like last week. I don't know if the matter was already discussed, is that I couldn't connect my mentor during the pull request that I was doing. I couldn't put my mentor in the reviewers because she wasn't there.
Okay, that's actually not a problem. So even though if you are not able to put as a reviewer, it's recommended because he will receive the notification, but it's not critical. Because you could share the direct link to the pull request so he could check it, or he could find your private repository by navigating to the GitHub by substituting the GitHub username. So that's not a problem.
No, like my question is now that since we have this like link in our RS app, do we need like to to make it like very obvious and DM the actual link, or the link in the app would be enough if I like can't put into reviewers, for example, the mentor?
Alicia, your mentor has been added to the reviewers list.
Oh, that's even more better. Great. Okay.
But I mentioned that's not a problem actually. Don't worry, your mentor will still, even though if you will not like add to reviewers, he will still find you. So don't worry, nobody misses everything.
Your mentors are just a human, and you are able to communicate and discuss the most appropriate way how to provide a pull request or your code for check. It's not a strict rules that you should share your pull request just this way and no way and so on. Just communicate with the mentors. Don't worry. They're very nice people.
scared of my mentor. Is this kind of like documentation for our app, like RS app, that is making me more confused than anything?
Well,
Honestly.
the documentation in some aspects is not call to action, it's a recommendation. So it doesn't mean that you are supposed like to do the same process over and over again. Okay, everything could be communicated. You could like ask him, okay, so in the documentation we have such information. Should we follow it? So yeah, you should, the best approach here to like to communicate, to agree on the processes, because in some groups the process could be significantly different. That's yours group decision, and we're not like checking for the process how you relate the task.
Okay, so another question that I have, and I hope that it's ending for us, is the cross-check.
Okay.
It was amazing week for me. I never had something like that. I had 4 students to check. None of them did the work. I don't understand if they're actually like active students at this point. But as I understood, I still had to check them. I did. I'm saying right away, I checked their work.
So just one more time. You receive 4 links of the work that haven't been done even.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, if the task wasn't completed at all, you significantly put 0 at the score and submit it. So that the task will be counted as checked.
So okay. So do we have like cross checks in the future? Tell me that we don't.
Well, so by default, we're assuming that the tasks that you'll accommodate will be checked by mentors.
Yeah. And now, like what we had like in the first stage, right?
Yes, that's a different process.
So that was a great experience. I'm happy that it ended. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, thank you for your questions. Appreciate.
Thank you very much.
We like already provided interesting info for the restaurants. Okay. Yeah, and one more thing from the chat. I see the question, just will repeat this one more time. So your mentor will have 2 weeks to evaluate your work. So let's assume for now you submitted inheritance and your mentors will have 2 weeks to check it. So it doesn't mean that exactly in 2 weeks you'll receive the feedback. So it could happen earlier, but this is the deadline, a recommended deadline for mentors, because otherwise there is a high chance risk that in future assignments you'll make the same mistakes that will be highlighted by mentors. So yeah, the recommended deadline for them is 2 weeks. Okay. So I believe we're done. Anyway, one more time, I like remind you that apart from Hannah, who is like you already told that she's a lifesaver, there are other coordinators. So please address your questions to us as well. We're ready to help, and yeah, thank you for all of your questions. I believe you'll manage like to set up the processes, the communication with your mentors easily. And even though if you haven't received it now, don't worry. We'll solve the cases individually, and please give us at least 1 week to resolve all this stuff. But meanwhile, if you're without mentors, so please proceed with the tasks according to the deadline. For today's webinar, I believe we're done. Thanks everyone for your attention, and good luck, and see you later.
Have a good week. Bye-bye.